So if you like to sit upon anything, so like I have this couch throw pillow, and it actually is a really nice thing to sit on when I'm sitting cross-legged. You know, we don't all have yoga bolsters in our house, but that can be really nice. So since I have it here, I'll use this. So anyway, we're gonna sit at the beginning, at the end. So if you like to sit upon something, go ahead and grab that. You can sit in any version of cross-legged you would like. Alternatively, you can always tuck your knees under you and sit there if that is more comfortable. And once you get yourself settled, just allow your arms to rest in your lap. So you're sitting up tall. Sometimes that sitting on the cushion helps you to sit up tall. If you tend to be real tight in your hips and in your back, and you're sitting on the floor, you actually just sort of end up slumping back into your pelvic girdle. And so sometimes the sitting on something just helps to elevate you. It helps me to drop my hips open. So if you haven't tried it, it might be worth a try. And then close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Alternatively, you can just focus on a point in front of you. Just let your eyes be soft. Some people don't love to have their eyes closed, and that's okay. But just try not to let them look all over. Just pick a point and let them kind of softly focus on that. Bringing your attention to your breath. Beginning to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Taking some full deep breaths. And if you feel any tightness at all as you're breathing, sometimes you just need to let go of all of that. So maybe if you haven't done so, take a deep breath and let it all out through your mouth. And just really purge your lungs. And then begin to breathe a yogic breathing. You can practice your ujjayi breath if you would like, which is where you inhale through your nose. And then as you exhale, you control the exhale and you sort of feel it pass. It's like a glottal breath. You feel it pass over the back of your throat. And you hear a little bit of a sound, almost like the sound when you hold a shell to your ear. So it's really just a yogic breath, but there's a slight differentiation between that and just regularly breathing through your nose. It's common to use the ujjayi breath in the Ashtanga practice. It's a warming breath. It's a way of controlling the exhale. And letting go of any thoughts, any stresses, any tasks that you might have. Leaving them off the mat. Just giving your mind, your body, everything over to the mat, to your practice. And right now, as you sit and prepare, the only thing you have to do is breathe. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to give you an optional little relaxation technique to do as you sit here. If you would like, just take your fingers and grab your earlobes gently with your thumb and your index finger and just give your earlobes a couple of tugs. You can kind of rub the earlobes and then just gently pull down and release a few times. And then move up your ears towards the center of your ear and the outside, and same thing, just sort of gently pull it and release a few times. And then move up to the top of your ear, and same thing, just pinch and release a few times. And work your way back down, back to the outer edge of the ear, pinching and releasing. And back down to the earlobe, pinching and releasing. And then right there next to your ear, take your index finger, and you'll feel along your jaw as you move slightly a millimeter in towards your face. There's a little bit of an indentation there. And that's where your jaw intersects with your skull. There's a joint there. And like lots of joints, we can hold tension. So just press your fingers in there gently and maybe move your fingers in a circle in one direction, just with your little index finger, and move it in the other direction. And just notice where you need it. If you feel tension or pain there, we don't all hold tension there certainly, but if you know that you grind your teeth, if you know that you lock your jaw, this is a nice thing to just sort of release that area. And then move your hands up to your temples, your fingers up to your temples, and with less pressure, just a little bit of gentle pressure, and then make little circles in one direction. And little circles in the other direction. Good. Release the hands and take an inhale, extending the arms up high overhead. Interlace the fingers and stretch tall and long. And just lean gently to one side and the other, just a little bit of a stretch over one side, over to the other, back and forth a couple of times. Back up through center. And then press your palms together and exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. And open your eyes. All right, so from where you are, if you are sitting upon something, just move that pillow aside. You can use it later again. And just bring your feet out in front of you, soles of your feet together. Coming to a butterfly, Baddha Konasana. If you'd like, pressing your arms against the thighs if you need that extra bit of stretch like I do. Some of you, they probably just open right up, especially sitting as we just were. And take a couple of deep breaths there. And then bringing that left foot, or more or less leaving it where it is, extend the right leg off to the side so it's out at an angle. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to laterally bend here, so I just sort of let the right hand rest here on this thigh as we bend over. So trying to stay lateral. It's very easy here to kind of round over, which is why sometimes I'll have you put your hand behind your head. You can try that and press the back of your head into your hand, and what that does is helps you open up your chest, and that allows you to bend laterally. And if this hand in front of you is uncomfortable, it could hold your foot, it could go behind the leg. It's just got to get out of the way, essentially. If you want to reach this top arm over towards your toe, you certainly can. And see if you can turn your head to look towards the ceiling. Again, that just helps keep your chest open. The only reason for that is it just enforces the sideways bend. If you end up kind of rounding over, you end up losing that lateral bend, and we're trying to move the spine in a few directions. Right now to the side. Press yourself up, and from here we'll twist here. So root yourself in your hips. We're probably not going to twist as far as we sometimes do because that leg is out there. So hand on the thigh, other hand behind you, and then just turning away, opening towards the back. Taking a few breaths. Gently pulling that left shoulder back, gently pressing on the right thigh. Back to center, pressing up. And lifting up for a moment and releasing down. And then we're just going to switch sides. The left leg's going to go out, right leg's going to come in. Sitting up nice and tall, squaring towards the front, but that left leg's out to the side. And then we're going to laterally bend this side. So again, just do with your left arm what you need to. If it goes in front, if it goes alongside the leg. If you liked having that hand behind your head, if that felt good, you can do that. If you prefer reaching towards the toe, you can do that. See if you can look up towards the ceiling. And take a couple breaths here. You'll notice it's quite constricted, it's quite tight because we're bent over on our lungs. Which is the exact reason why when we're not trying to compress our lungs, we don't want to feel that tightness. We don't want to be slouched. It's why we typically want to sit up nice and tall. But take some breaths, see if you can fully expand the lungs or to the fullest capacity you can in this compressed position. Really deep breaths. This side is much harder for me. You might find one side is more challenging than the other. I have a distinct curve in my spine, and so bending this way is tough. which is why one needs to do it. Good, press yourself up. Same thing, now we're gonna sit up nice and tall and simply twist, grabbing hold of that thigh, hand behind you, opening that right shoulder back. Taking a few breaths here. Good, releasing back into center, keeping that hand behind as we press up. And reaching overhead, opening through the hip flexor. And lowering that back down. And now opening both legs out in your Uttanasana Konasana. Sitting up tall and hinging forward. So if you have a block, sometimes it feels good to just put your forearms on that block, gives them a place to land. If you're working on flexibility, maybe you're all the way up here, that's okay. Angling your body so that your belly button is shooting towards the floor and your chin is trying to land way out there. Notice what your feet are doing, if they like to pronate inwards or outwards. Knees. Try to keep everything pointing towards the ceiling. And take a couple deep breaths. See if you can release into this each exhalation, letting you go a little bit more. Still thinking about lengthening though. It's almost, I like to use my hands here and like press to pull myself forward. So your glutes are glued to the ground, but you really lengthen and extend your spine. Imagine creating space between each of your vertebrae, particularly at the bottom of your back. That's that real tight area for all of us, especially if we're sitting all day long. And you can really help lengthen out of it here, like someone's pulling you by a string here. There's always that string pulling, right? It's always pulling straight out of the top of your head, not always towards the ceiling, just whatever direction your skull is pointing. And bring yourself back up, bringing the soles of your feet together. Let's do some moving breaths here. So inhale up. Exhale, hinge and release forward. Take one inhale and let it go. And then next time you inhale, roll back up. And exhale, hinge forward. Same thing, take an inhale and let it go. Next inhale. And this time really exaggerate, hinging forward, leading with your chest and your arms, reaching. Let those arms come down. Keep the chest lifted this time as you exhale. So just like when our legs were open, aiming the belly button towards the floor, pressing into the hands to reach up out of your low back, flexing your feet to stretch the hamstrings. And then let that go. Let the head go, let the back round. And bringing yourself up, flipping yourself over, coming all the way down onto your tummy. Any way you want to get there. I'm not even going to make you do a vinyasa to get there. And just let your head rest to one side or the other for a moment. Bring the feet together, legs together. And then turn your head so your forehead is on the mat and your hands are right by your shoulders. And we're just going to lift up the whole chest and head with the hands. We're not pressing into the mat. And release down. Inhale to lift up, squeezing the gluteal muscles. Exhale to release down. At your own pace, which could be faster or slower than me. As if your breath inflating your lungs is what lifts you up, and then you deflate back down. Do one more. And then once you get down, just turn your head to the other side for a moment and rest on that side. And slide your hands under your shoulders, push yourself up, and back. Curl your toes under you, extend your hands out in front of you as you sit back in puppy pose, dropping your head towards the mat, sitting back towards your heels, extending the arms, creating a nice long stretch in both arms, both shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. And bringing yourself up, hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat. A few times there, using the full breath for the full movement. And we'll go ahead and do the cow-cat series. So we're going to add the leg, the right leg, and we'll do a few with the leg, and then we'll add the arm, or you can put the leg down and just do the arm. So when you're ready, next time you inhale or exhale, doesn't matter where you start, you're going to draw the knee in towards the chest on the exhale. You're still arching up, rounding the whole spine. And then as you inhale, you extend the leg just at hip height. Still make sure you're opening the chest and you're looking forward. Exhale, knee lifts up as the back arches away. Inhale to extend. Exhale, making sure your spine is moving. So your leg is just sort of in addition to what we were doing a moment ago with the spine. And then if you'd like, put the knee down and just do the arm, or keep both going. Arm draws in towards knee, knee draws in towards arm. And then they reach away, and your gaze follows your hand. So you look down into your body, and then your gaze goes out, looking out to your fingertips. And then after you've done maybe 3 or 4 of these, go ahead and hold that out position. So you've got a little bit of an arch in your spine here. You're reaching the fingers forward, you're looking at your hand, and you're pushing back away through your heel. And then bring that hand down, swing the leg all the way through, planting it down in front of you. Option here to grab blocks as we come into our runner's lunge. So you could put a block on either side of your foot and then lift up your back heel into your runner's lunge. Making sure our knee is over our ankle. Really actively push through that heel. So if you have tightness in your inner thighs, what that's going to mean is your legs don't get quite so far apart. And when your legs aren't quite so far apart, your body is further off the mat. And then you have to strain to find the floor. So that's why if you've got a couple of blocks or anything that substitutes as a block, it bridges the distance between the floor and your hands. And just bend the back knee and lift it back up. Just releasing it down to the mat and pressing away for 3, for 2. Last one, leave it there and then step your right foot back, finding modified plank. So not tabletop, but now you're at an angle. One side of your table has collapsed and all of your food goes sliding off of it. Holding here for a moment. And then go ahead and chaturanga all the way down to the mat this time. Chest, chin, hips, and then pressing into your hands, squeezing your feet together, elbows hugging the ribs, shoulders stay back as you lift up into a cobra at any level. It can be baby cobra down here, or it can be a deeper cobra. The key is that the shoulders stay down, chest is lifted, you're not hurting your back. And release it down. Next time you inhale, lifting back up, finding your cobra, maybe go a smidge higher. And release that back down. Last time. And then step and back, come back to child's pose. Pushing into your heels, releasing down. Knees together so your back rounds over your knees, arms reaching away. Breathe into the back body. And coming back up, hands and knees, Knees under shoulders. No, that's not right. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Finding neutral. And then same series we did before. So beginning first, always like you to feel this movement and re-find the breath. So matching your inhale for the full movement of cow, matching your exhale for the full movement of cat. Really exaggerating that spinal movement. Cow-cat is all about the spine. And then today, I want you to keep that spinal movement as you add the leg. So whatever point, on the in or on the out, you're going to add the left leg. And keep moving your spine. Continuing to start with the tail, end with the head. Nice and controlled. And then again, once you've done 3, maybe 4 of those, whenever you're ready, either put that leg down and just do the right arm, or add the arm with the leg. But again, that same cow-cat action is happening with the spine. So it's a very slow movement, and you're still working your spine like a slinky with the breath. And once you've done 3 or 4 or so of those, go ahead and hold the out position. So your gaze is looking at your fingertips, your heel is pushing away, lengthening through the leg. You do have a little bit of a curve in that low back, but you're still supporting it with the abdominal muscles. Chest is lifted, shoulders are pulling back. Good, and then put that hand down, swing the left foot forward, bringing your blocks if you need to put hands on blocks, and then popping up into your runner's lunge. As I always say, if you need props, that does not mean you are bad at yoga. It means you need props. It's okay. You will build the flexibility as you practice. It's better to use the props and get yourself here than not. I just have like 5 blocks literally supporting my computer to have this on Zoom on top of an end table. So all of my blocks are occupied. I only have 1 left. I only have a limited amount of blocks in my house. And then bend that back knee down and lift back up and bend down and up and 3 and 2. The last one. Good, and drop that knee down, step the foot back, coming to that modified plank, belly lifting up, belly button lifting up rather, spine is long, chest is lifted, lower all the way down. So we'll do 3 more extensions here. Your option, you can keep your hands under shoulders and do 3 cobras, just like we just did, maybe make them deeper if you want. Or if you want to work on your up dog, slide your hands back to just below your shoulders, right about your top rib to come to up dog. So your option. As we inhale, you press up. If you're coming to up dog, you're going to lift the hips up. Try not to lock the elbow. Pull the shoulders back, elbows, both of them. And then slowly lower that back down. If that is too much, keep working on your cobra. Don't hurt yourself. No one's grading you. Inhale up to cobra or up dog. It's just a nice opportunity for those of you who are working on up dog to practice it outside of the vinyasa. Last time. And again, try not to lock your elbows, because if you lock your elbows, then you'll tend to pop your shoulders up. You'll also tend to drop into your hips. You should be super active here. You're pushing the floor away, lifting the chest, extending the legs away, and that's what creates the curve, not dropping your hips. Good, and then everybody sit back on your heels in your child's pose. Balasana, arms reaching forward. Breathing into the back, rounding over the knees. Good, coming back up onto hands and knees. We're going to come to bridge, and then we're going to do something else on our side. So I'm going to pivot onto my right knee, extend the left leg. I'm going to grab my block and put it My mat is just all kinds of crooked. I'm gonna put it by my leg. There. All right, so we're sitting up with, I've got my right foot mirror image to you, pointing away, nice and tall. Lateral bend, just like we did at the beginning. So you're lifting up, you're bending over, and then if you need that support so you don't collapse over, put your hand on the block. You will see this with hand on the knee. I disagree wholeheartedly with that, unless you can put your hand on your leg with absolutely no pressure, which is next to impossible for all of us, because once it's there, you automatically are going to press, and that puts pressure on the knee. See how this feels different or the same as the lateral bend we did at the beginning? Breathe into the ribs. Good. Lift that up and over and just sort of seesaw, teeter-totter over, put the hand down, extending the leg, extend the top arm, and make big circles with that arm. Opening up the shoulder joint. Good. And then we're actually going to come down to the floor. So come all the way down. I was forgetting for a moment what move I was going to do. You're going to come onto your forearm, on your left forearm. Your left knee is bent, and your right leg is extended on top, okay? And this shoulder and elbow should be more or less in line. Extending this right arm, we're going to press up as we reach the arm over. And lower back down. 5 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 4 more. Press up. Really pushing that top hip towards the ceiling. Pressing up for 3. This is actually abdominal, but I think it's a really nice stretch through the body. So you are working for sure, but you're also stretching. And then this time lift up and hold it. So really stretch the arm away, really stretch the leg away. Maybe turn and look towards the ceiling if that doesn't bother your neck. If it does, you can turn and look towards the floor or just look straight ahead. Can you push the hip up a little bit higher? Good. And release that down. Rolling down over, not rolling really, but coming over to your hands and knees. Stepping those knees back into the modified plank again. And we'll lower down your option to do cobra or up dog and go right back into your child's pose. So lowering all the way down, chest, chin, and hips, or just coming part way down to lift up to your up dog. And then sit back on your heels in child's pose. Just one breath there. And bring yourself back up to hands and knees. I'm just going to turn around so my back's not to you. And you're going to switch sides. So opposite knee is going to pivot. We're going to come to our gate pose on this side. So I'm going to move my block over. So your knee right under your hip. Starting nice and tall. Extend that arm up. As you exhale, laterally bend and find your block. Place your hand on the block. A tall water bottle could be helpful here too. You can do nothing. You can do hand on hip. The problem is it tends to, at least on me, my shoulder kind of pops up when I do that. But at least you're not putting pressure on your knee joint. And press yourself up and over, lifting that top leg, or not lifting it rather, leaving it down. Extend your top arm. We did not lift it on the other side. Big circles with that arm. Giant windmill circles. Good, and then find yourself all the way down into the mat on this side. So that elbow is right under shoulder. You're on your forearm, bottom knee bent, top leg extended, making sure you're doing the opposite side. Lifting up and stretching. 6, 5, pressing the hip up. Inhale up. Last 2. Last 1, and hold, stretching through that arm. Taking a deep breath. And then go ahead and come on over back into your modified plank. We are going to come up to down dog from here. If down dog is not going to work for you tonight, just come to all fours. So lowering down, chest, chin, and hips. Option to hover and to come into your upward facing dog, or of course go all the way down to your cobra. And then if you want to do down dog, coming up to down dog. Otherwise, you can go back to child's pose. You could also come to your all fours and take a few breaths here. If you're in down dog, pressing through the heels, maybe you're jogging through one side and the other to stretch out those hamstrings. Rolling the shoulders away, pressing into the palms. Take an inhale, extend the right leg up, three-legged down dog. You could also be doing this from all fours. Just extend the leg just like we did. And then swing that leg all the way through, and everybody press up into a high lunge. Extending the arms up if you'd like. So we're still pressing through that back heel. Nice deep bend in the front knee. If it's too much with arms extended, arms can come to the chest. They could also come to the hips. If you'd like, begin to open the chest, looking towards the ceiling. Good, go ahead, bring the hands behind the back, clasp the hands together, pull them down, open up the chest this way, opening the chest, the shoulders, extending the spine once again. Good, bringing the hands to heart center. Twisting, so you're turning towards that bent knee. When you can't twist anymore, extend the arms, and then see if you can push, like you're pushing against the wall with that back hand to twist a little bit more. Notice I'm still lifted through here, not bending down from the hips, just bending in the knee. Good, coming back to center, hands to heart center. Push off this right foot to bring the left foot to meet it. So you're just going to step to the top of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold, and hang there for a moment. Let the head go, maybe nod the head yes. Release the spine, shake the head no. A little bit of a bounce or sway if that feels good. Little soft bend in the knees here. You don't need to have your knees super, super straight. And then drop your hips as you bend your knees even more and roll yourself up. Good. If you're using a block, grab it. We are going to do pyramid and revolved triangle, and a block can come super in handy. So I'm going to put the block next to my right foot. You just decide which one you want to do. Make sure you do both sides. We're going to step back with the left foot. So it's not a giant step back. It's just like halfway what you might do for a warrior pose. And then your feet are like they're on railroad tracks. They're pointing forward. If you're wobbling, you can pivot your back foot out just a little bit. But you want the hips to be squared forward. So pyramid is really great for your hamstrings. So try to keep the legs straight, and you're going to really stretch the hamstrings. Keeping your hips facing forward. Hand options for pyramid are to bring your hands to your hips, bring your hands behind you, fist to fist, or come to reverse prayer. And then from here, once again, like we were doing earlier, leading with your chest, you're hinging from your hips, and you're working towards flat back. Now you'll notice your right hip is going to shift forward. Keep pulling that, or whatever one's front. Pull the front hip, the right hip in my case, back. So your hips are square. And then you're looking, you want to keep your head in line with your spine. So if your back ends up parallel to the floor, you don't want to look in front of you. You want to look on the floor. Take a breath here. All right, we're going to transition this to our revolved triangle, Pravita Trikonasana. So you're going to extend the left hand, the back leg hand, to that block that's on the floor next to the front foot. So you pick your level of the block. Maybe you want to be up high. It's a little wobbly there. Any level is fine. If you can reach the floor, that's fine, but I even find that challenging. And then move that top hand, the right hand, to the hip, and begin rotating towards the right. And then if you're stable, you can extend that top arm and maybe even bring the gaze. If you start to fall over, no worries. This is a super challenging balancing pose. Really try to rotate this chest so you're actually turning your chest, opening it towards the other side. Really deep stretch. Take a couple breaths. And then bring that top hand, the right hand, back to the hip. Rotate back to the front. Release the left hand from the block. Bring your left hand to your hip so you're back into pyramid but hands on hips. And then press yourself up to stand. Good. Step the foot forward. Inhale. Exhale, release down. Stepping the right foot back, followed by the left, coming to your knees, modified plank, and chaturanga, modified chaturanga, up to cobra or up dog, and pressing back to down dog. Deep breath in and out. And we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Extend that left leg up. Pressing the heel up. Again, you could be on all fours here, extending the left leg back behind you. And then swing that leg all the way through, planting down, rising up into your high lunge on this side. So again, pushing away, trying to create a straight leg in the back, nice bent knee in the front, hips are forward. And then when you're ready, if you want to extend those arms, open the chest towards the ceiling. Lift the gaze, take a deep breath. Deepening the extension of the spine by bringing your hands behind you, pulling them away, open the chest again, bringing the gaze up again. Probably get a little bit of a deeper back bend here. And then bringing the hands to heart center. Staying nice and tall and lifted through the spine. Nice deep bend in the front knee. Twist towards the left leg, twist as much as you can. And then extend the left arm back, the front arm forward. And imagine you're pushing against a wall, trying to twist a little bit more. And bring yourself back to heart center, back facing forward. When you're ready, launching off to step to the front of the mat. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, release down. And hang there for a moment. This time keeping your legs straight. Actually, I lied. First bending your knees. We're going to straighten in a second. With bent knees, slide your hands under your feet. So your fingers are about in the middle of your feet and your toes are at your wrists. Let your body go and then work to straighten your legs. You may not get them all the way straight, and that's fine, but press against your hands to try to straighten them. If you do get to straight legs, pull against your feet, bringing the crown of your head towards the mat. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. And then release your hands from where they are. Bend your knees and roll all the way up. Good, stepping the right foot back. Right foot back so you're like on railroad tracks this way. Again, that right foot can be facing exactly forward, or for stability you can pivot it just a tiny bit. But you just don't want it to open your hips. You want to keep the hips square. That block can be waiting for you by your left pinky toe or whichever foot is forward. Both legs are straight. Pick your hand position for pyramid. And then hinging from the hips, leading with the chest, continuing to pull the back hip forward, the front hip back to keep them square. Nice, long, flat back. Try not to round over here. And your head is in line with your spine, so your gaze just finds a point with a neutral spine. You don't want to create those like wrinkles in the back of your neck. You want it nice and smooth. Try not to lock the knees, but still getting a nice stretch through the hamstrings. All right, transitioning to our Parivrtta Trikonasana. So the right hand is going to reach across and find the block. The left hand is going to find the left hip. Once you're stable, rotate away. I don't know what you're rotating away from. You're just rotating. And then if you want, you extend that top arm. In a lot of poses, I say not to bear weight on the hand that's on the floor or whatever, but this is not one of those. You don't need to try to be light on that right hand. You can be pressing into it to support you, and then see if you can use it to turn further. And if you're wobbly, you always can bring that top hand back to your hip. Taking a couple of breaths in the twist. And if it's not already there, bringing the hand to the hip, rotating back to center, bringing the opposite hand to the hip, and pressing yourself up to stand. Good. Pivot towards the, so you're on the long edge of the mat. Feet are parallel, pointing forward, and hinge forward. Releasing that, letting the head go. Bend your knees if you need to bring your hands to the mat, and then just make little lunges. One side to the other side. Just releasing anything going on in that inner thigh, hip area. And then pause at center, let the head go, let the arms go, maybe grabbing opposite elbows. Good, and then just pivot towards one side or the other. Bend the knees so that your hands can find the mat. Drop your back knee down. Bring your other knee back to meet it. And sit back on your heels in child's pose, this time bringing your arms down beside your body. Letting your head melt onto the floor. And take a breath and let everything go. Good, and then rolling yourself up. We're going to come on over onto our back and do your option of inversion. Because I've been using the block, I'm going to do legs on the block. You can come to a wall and do legs up the wall. You could do supported bridge. If you want something more intense, you can come to shoulder stand. But I'm going to show this tonight. So with and again, you could do this with something else like a small pillow. I mean, you could use a book, just you don't want to use something that's going to hurt you. So like your paperback would be better. And it's going to go at the low part of your back, so kind of where your pelvic bone is, your sacrum, and then your legs lift up. So just make sure it's comfortable. These foam blocks are pretty nice because they don't tend to dig into you. And you want them at its lowest setting. And then your legs just come straight up. And that's it. And hopefully you're not working too hard. Now, if you don't have a block, a pillow, or something else, you can just put your hands under you, and that helps. It just means the less lifted your hips are, the more you have to work. So there's nothing inherently wrong with doing this with your hips flat on the floor. You just have to engage your abs more. Right now, my belly is totally soft. There's no engagement going on. Whereas if everything was sitting on the floor, I'd have to actually use my abdominal muscles to support my legs. Which is why you all have walls. You could always do this against a wall. If you want, you can drop those legs open. Get a nice inner thigh stretch. Gravity does the work. If you have someone trusted who won't hurt you, or yourself, you can gently press. You don't want to put lots of pressure or weight on there, but you could put a little bit to increase that stretch depending on your flexibility. If your legs are open, go ahead and bring them back together. If you are on a block, go ahead and lift yourself off of it. If you're not, you don't need to worry about that. And then hug your knees into your chest. Giving yourself a little rock from side to side. And coming to happy baby, grabbing ankles or feet. So when you're in happy baby, see if you can keep your low back and that area that was just under the block on the mat. Because if you are up here, it has a slightly different feeling than here, and down here should give you more of a stretch. Pressing your knees towards your armpits. I like to push my arms against my thighs to get a bit of an inner thigh stretch. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Release the feet onto the mat. And we'll do a short breathing exercise here before your Shavasana, and then we'll do pranayama at the end. So bringing a hand to the abdomen, a hand to the chest. I've got my legs in Baddha Konasana. Let your elbows drop down to the side. Let your chin tuck towards your chest. So we're going to do a 4-part breath. So it's an inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And in this case, each one is going to be the same amount of time. I'm going to do a 4 count. So it's, if you think of it as like a square, and you can do any modification of this that's comfortable. And the reason your hands are there, just to get that feedback. As you inhale, see if you can inhale and let each hand rise and fall in succession. Notice your rib cage expanding, so it's really deep breaths. So letting all the air go, and then when you're ready, you're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Last time, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And then just inhale normally as you release your hands, extend your legs, and relax in Savasana. Breathing in through nose, breathing out through nose. Allowing yourself to relax into the mat. If your mind drifts, just gently bring it back. Counting the breath can help. Either counting that same sort of pattern that we did a moment ago, or simply counting 1 as you inhale and exhale. Counting 2 on the next breath. Either way, it gives your mind a place to land. Allowing your eyes to focus on the backs of your eyelids. As you breathe in, breathing in relaxation. As you breathe out, breathing out stress and tension. breath to begin to deepen. As you inhale, breathing in energy. Imagine you can watch your breath as if it brings light and energy into your body. And you can watch it travel all the way down your arms and legs, shooting out that energy from your fingers and toes and the top of your head, reawakening you with positivity and light. And begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, roll your wrists and roll your ankles. Let your head gently roll from side to side. And drawing your knees towards your chest. If you want, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. Falling to whichever side feels like it's what you need right now. Taking a moment there in the fetal position. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself up to the same seated position we started in. So if you need to grab a pillow or something to sit on, that's fine. Crossing your legs in front of you, sitting up nice and tall. And once you get comfortable, once again, closing your eyes, letting your hands rest in your lap. My goal in these Wednesday night classes is to try to make the asana practice a little bit shorter, to make sure that we have time for a good relaxation, savasana, meditation, and pranayama. So tonight I wanted to do just the alternate breath, really nice pranayama that anyone can do. So if you think of the alternate breath that works in a cycle, you're going to be breathing in one side of your nostril and breathing out the other side, and then breathing back in that side and out the first side. And the idea is that each nostril corresponds to one of your pranic channels in your body. So as you inhale through that side, that breath is traveling down that channel, crisscrosses at each of the chakras. And then you let it go through the other side and then reverse it. And your left side is associated with your lunar side, with relaxation, with nighttime, with coolness, with relaxation. And your right side, the masculine or solar side, is associated with energy, with heat, with daytime. So by doing the alternate breath, the idea is that you balance your two sides and create equilibrium and peace within your body. So when you're ready, bringing your right thumb to your right nostril, and then bending your index finger and your middle finger towards your palm, and then your ring finger is going to be by your left nostril. So when you're ready, you're going to inhale through the left. You're going to pinch and hold your breath. You're going to exhale through the right. And hold your breath. Inhale through the right. Hold, pinch. Exhale left. And hold. We'll do the same breath pattern we did a moment ago. So inhale through the left, 2, 3, 4, pinch and hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale right, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, pinch and hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, hold, exhale right, hold. Inhale right, hold, exhale left, hold, inhale left, hold, exhale right, hold, inhale right, hold, exhale left, hold. Last time, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, release your hand. When you can't hold that breath anymore, take a deep inhale through both nostrils. Open your mouth and let it go. And resume normal breathing. And I will just leave you tonight with one final thought that also came today in my daily calm meditation. That I quite liked. It said, be still like a mountain and flow like a great river. And I just think that sums up our yoga practice beautifully. Take one more inhale, extending the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Om Shanti Om. Namaste.